Hey guys, True Knight again here. So tonight's deck profile with Swordsoul is kind of a different build from my previous one. Still similar, you want to go second with it, but this build's kind of, if you don't get to go second, here's some thoughts and ideas that I have so you're not as screwed over if you're going with a purely going second build. So let's get into it. First, of course, we are running triple Ecclesia. Ratio stays the same there. Swordsoul's, you're pretty much staying the same with this whole lineup. You're gonna run 3 Moye, 3 Long Yuan, 2 Taya. That doesn't change at all. You're also going to run your 3 Emergence, 2 Desires, 1 Black. Next up for your tennies, again, 3 Ashuna, 3 Adhara, 2 Vishuddha. Differently in the build here, I am running 3 Vessel. I find if I'm going first with this, it really helps me to open up, get stronger, and with the tech that I have in here, it meshes. So consider running Vessel. I know a lot of people who are running Tenny stuff are thinking about running Circle instead, but I still think this gives you a lot of value. Now for your non-engine cards, 3 Ash, 3 Nib, and then I have put in 3 Fenrir. I think Fenrir on its own makes your opponent have to address this card and have to find a way to out it. So your presence of this card alone can make your opponent have to force plays that they didn't want to force against you in the first place. And then that opens up less resources for them and more resources for you to play with. And then finally, the last 3 cards are Book of Eclipse. Doing this over, excuse me, doing this over evenly because I can set it, you can stop Unicorn, it helps out a lot more, and Swordsoul doesn't really have to worry about deleting a board as long as it can stop effects that can stop them. So I think that this really helps with that in nature. Also, there was a point I wanted to make that a good player in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now, you're always going to stop Unicorn. So if you're in that matchup, stop that card. So play things that stop that card, if that makes sense. Extra deck, very similar to my previous build. We are running the 3 Monk, the 1 Shaman. I think right now with the way that tennies are, this is just the way to go. Also the 1 Berserker. For Zings, we are playing the Yazi, the 2 Baxia, and the Chaofeng. I think it is very standard to play this. I wouldn't change it right now. I think this card is a threat on its own to your opponent. When you get them to a point where you're comboing and before you even normal summon, you get to a point where you have this and Adhara back on board, you force your opponent to respond to it. So this deck right now is all about forcing your opponent to respond when they don't want to. For Swordsoul's, Yugioh, big guys, I think they're mandatory. This guy might as well be a Swordsoul. So this is what I run right now. And finally, I have taken out Dragite and I'm putting in Psychic End Plunger. I just think it's a strong card right now. Probably in my normal build, I am going to continue to run this card. I think that it's just insane when you can get it to resolve and get on the board. Opponents aren't really prepared for it because they just don't think a lot of decks make it very comfortably, but Swordsoul can make it quite easily. So finally, we're gonna go into side deck. Little bits changed here. I am running the triple tech still think it's the greatest card right now. Why not? A lot of board breakers here. So 3 Lightning Storm, of course, for back row, 4 monsters, and then evenly matched, of course. This is where it does change up. I decided to put this in here for this build. A lot of people are sleeping on the solos right now. They're only expecting Judgment. This card I've watched in my locals alone, fairly competitive, and this card comes out of nowhere. There's a player that plays Swordsoul with this card, and he was just dominating the night that he was playing it. It was right after the ban list, and he even made the statement himself, like, wow, this is a very powerful card. So try it out, consider it. When you're playing Swordsoul, a lot of your opponents will believe, oh, I'm just gonna have to go first and set up and go. But when you trick them, game 2 or game 3, you can trick them into believing, oh, he's gonna let me go first, or she's gonna let me go second, or whatever you want to do. Going first on the sly and putting this in, nobody really sees it coming. So really consider it. And then for my floodgate, D-Bear. Not much has changed there. So this is it for tonight, guys. I will bring more different types for this deck of builds. I did float around with a going first build and a trap heavy build just to kind of see how it felt. Drew a lot of inspiration on this deck from Satellar Knight itself, and thinking more along the lines of protect the castle. So protecting the castle in the sense of getting to your synchro 10s, not your synchro 8s. So it's a lot to think about. They do say that Swordsoul players are like the thinkers of Yu-Gi-Oh right now. So it is true. When you're thinking and brewing it up and putting it around there, you got to think about things like, I have 15 to 17 open slots in my deck. Like, the things you can mess around with are pretty insane right now, and the arsenal of cards you have to mess around with in this deck are pretty great. So dig in, guys. Like, really try to think it through. Don't just net deck, as they say. So mess around with it. I will bring a trap version out eventually and show you what I'm thinking about with it, so be on the lookout for that. But other than that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful night and take care, okay?